Would you rather have only 7 fingers or only 7 toes?
Toes. You can hide them.
That's a great point.
Because I was thinking about that because I was like, well, it depends. Like, are they evenly spread out? But then I'm like, are you going to be off balance? And which toe are they like on the end so you can kind of support yourself, right? I'm analyzing these, man.
This is great, though.
Oh, man. I'm going to take Carlos out.
Yo. You know what it is? It's been over a decade of like missing, good laughs with you. So it's all coming together too. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Carlos Granados podcast. And today I have another special guest. But before I introduce you to him, I want to thank you guys for showing so much love on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe on all my videos. And also don't forget you can listen to Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and as well Spotify, of course. And without further ado, let's welcome Carson into the podcast. What's going on, homie?
What's up, man? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Bro, it's been so long since I seen you. When's the last time I actually saw you, Carson? It's been about a decade, right?
Yeah, it's been close to like 10 years, maybe. I don't know. It's been a hot minute.
Bro, it's been so long. But we were just talking, and before I was like, yo, let's start the podcast so we can talk about it. So we started hanging out with each other a lot again back in the GGC days. So shout out to Georgia Gwinnett College. And ROTC. How did that process? Do you remember how it started? How we started hanging out again?
Yeah, so I know we went to high school together, but I don't know if we hung out that much in high school.
Right.
So for whatever reason, during orientation at GGC, they had like the military people there and the full decked out gear.
Yeah.
And I was like, it'd be fun maybe I should just sign up for this. And it was just kind of like off the cuff. And then you had signed up for it because I think you did
ROTC in high school, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think from ROTC and just being at GGC and having a similar, having the same high school and all that.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember when I was in ROTC in high school, I always wanted to join like the Marines, right? Because it was a Marine ROTC. Mm-hmm. But then I had, the Army option at Georgia Gwinnett College, and I was like, well, this would be also a good option to try out. And I also decided to join ROTC because my plans was to eventually get in and become an officer. You know what I mean? And we were looking into that, if you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
We did some travels to Atlanta and all kinds of places.
So let me ask you something. We were in ROTC together for, but you were for a semester. I was there for a full year, I believe. Were you there for a full year or also one semester? No, you were for one semester because it couldn't be in a full year because the second semester I took over the guide on because I had the highest PT score, which is probably bad in the ROTC. The highest PT score that was not a officer. So an officer couldn't get the guide on, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when you had the, in order for you to get, I guess in college, I don't know if you remember this, in order for you to get your private first class badge or whatnot, you needed to pass your PT score.
Yeah, you remember the first PT test that happened?
I freaking sucked. My running was bad. What was your score?
So on the push-ups and the sit-ups, I did pretty good on those. And remember Sergeant Keene?
Oh yeah, of course.
He was like, man, this kid he's got something.
He's a stud.
Yeah, because I was just big into fitness at the time. I started working out at the end of high school and stuff. And I was like, man, this is awesome.
Right.
And then they said, when we went for the run, they're like, oh, if people who do well on the run, we're going to place you in a groups, a slow group, medium, and then the fast group. And I was like, man, I don't want to be in the fast group. So I need to hold back on the run a little bit, because I didn't know we were going to get promoted. I thought we were just going to stay the fuzzies for until the next
fuzzies. That was the word.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I got it. We'll just, not do the run super well.
Right.
And then the last lap, and then the guys look at me, Sergeant Keene, I'm getting yelled at every lap that we go around for the 2 miles, right? And then the last lap, I was like, all right, I'll turn on the jets. I'll turn on the jets a little bit. And I did the lap really quick. And then he was like, what have you been doing this whole time? And I was like, I don't know. I just didn't really want to sign up for the fast group. And so after that, he was then they started doing the groups the following
Yeah.
week. That didn't work out to my favor because he put me in the fast group with everybody, and I was like, oh man,
That's where you needed to be, though.
this sucks, man.
Yeah, that's
And
where you
so,
need to be.
but I remember us training like because the next time we're like, oh, the people who got a good score, they got promoted. I think it was like one person.
Yeah, the following class, you had to go to the front. When they called your name, you had to run.
Yeah.
Get set, and they'll give you your prior first class.
Yeah.
What is it, emblem, badge, whatever it's called.
The little bar.
The little bar. I actually have mine right here.
Really?
Yeah, I have it over here.
I remember I still have the patches that have my last name on them
Me too.
somewhere, but my wife made me throw those out. So she don't like hoarding stuff, so it was maybe gone.
I still have them just because it looks really cool. So see, you did well even in your first PT test. For me, I did well as well in the push-ups. I got 100 in the push-ups. Because I think at the time, push-ups were, if you got over like 70 or something like that, it was 100. If you got sit-ups also were like 60 or 70,
yeah,
it was 100. And I got 100 on both. But the running, shit. I think I got like a 16-minute, maybe 17-minute for 2 mile. So I failed because it needed to be under like 1450 something.
Yeah, I think I did like over 15 and I was holding back a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd be, but the next set, I remember afterwards we were like, oh, let's train for the run. And we would go to Brookwood on the track and start running.
We were actually go practice.
Yeah, we would practice running. We didn't know what we were doing, but we would practice. And I think part of the runs in the morning would help. Yeah. And then, I think the next time we both got.
I think that's so. This is what happened with me. So, and I still remember because it was so hard. Because
traumatic.
Yeah, because when in high school, when I played football, I didn't need like a lot of just running itself. But when I got into ROTC, running was so important. So the first time I failed, the second time I failed, and this is like between that time we were getting like our runnings together. I was trying to get my run together, and the third time I finally passed it.
Oh.
And I mean, I barely passed it, bro. I'm talking about with seconds. I think I got a 2 mile like 14 minutes and like 40 something seconds, and I was like, dude, I was beat. But I was weighing 230. Everything else I was getting hundreds on, the push-ups, the sit-ups, except the run until that time. And I was so proud of myself.
Running is one of those things where if you don't do it, you gotta
there's
no you can't just go to the you go to the gym, you do push-ups and pull-ups and this and that, like squats, and that you're kind of building your strength and with your core and chest and all that. Running is like, if you don't practice it, you're not getting. There's no extra movements you could do. It's like you got to go. You
have
the fire.
to run, and that's why running. It's so hard, man. Running is so hard, and so once you left ROTC that first semester, I remember being in line as well with the platoon, right? And they call my name, and I'm like, the first semester. So this is the second semester, the first class. I'm like, I go to the front, and I was like, what do they want? Like, what am I in trouble or something? What did I do? You know what I mean? Yeah. And they gave me the guide on. And for the people that don't know, the guide on is typically the guy who carries the flag while you do PT, so physical training. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, are you sure you're giving it to the right guy? But what happened was people like you who had high PT score, you guys had left the class. And with me, like, officers couldn't carry the guide on. So the highest score after that, privates and stuff, that was on me.
Yeah.
So I'm having to carry the guide on, and I'm like, homie, nah.
You remember when they had us hike up Stone Mountain?
Oh, yeah.
With all the
I still have a picture of that, yeah.
So we did that, and then I remember one time they brought like that tank or that Humvee or something, and they made us carry the body. It was like weights in bags.
Oh.
And like, remember, it was like a fake body, and we're all having to like carry it and then push this Humvee.
You know what?
Inhaling car fumes, and I'm like, what are we doing?
I think I might have missed that. Well, I don't know if I was
lucky
there.
You, because that was. We had to go all the way around that running loop we did.
Yeah,
pushing a Humvee around campus.
You know what? I think was that a PT training session or something?
No, it was like an
event.
Yeah, it was like a Friday.
Oh,
I don't know. It was.
I think I'm
horrible.
Dang. See, I don't remember that no more. I don't remember that anymore. I do remember Stone Mountain though, that we had to do with the full
gear.
The full gear, and it was hot, man.
Remember we hiked around it and then up it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so tough. But it was fun, man. Yeah, good memories. Good memories. I can't believe that I actually used to do that. Now with my health issues, I'm like, I can't believe I used to put my body through so much.
Yeah.
Luckily I was young though. Yeah, no, that was a good time. And I remember that we actually were interested in joining the military. I was so close to joining the military.
Dude, we were both
We were
about
like
to sign the contract.
close. You were about to sign the contract. I always tell people that. I was like, all that contract needed was my signature.
Yeah.
And we were in.
Yeah, we were. I was like, man, I'm gonna sign this contract. I'm gonna go get a car, and like,
You were.
It honestly, in hindsight, it actually might have been. I mean, I see a lot of people now, like from my work experience and stuff. Like, luckily, I had a decent work experience before going back to school. But man, joining the military, and then getting that leadership experience, because you have like tons and tons of people and and there's like millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff you're responsible for, and like from an operational standpoint and leadership, it can give you a lot of good exposure. So I wouldn't.
It's good.
Yeah.
Right. No, and I actually. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I would have joined. Obviously, with the military, obviously comes the good and the bad. But as far as when it comes to like my lifestyle here, and I know for example, like right now I work for the federal government, but like military, personnel get like looked at first because you were in the military, things like that. I know when I was in college, it would have helped me a lot with the what is a stipend or something. What did they give you, like $300 a month if you're in the military and like you're attending stipend or something like that? And I was like, that would have helped me so much throughout college. And I probably would have gotten my college paid for the most part, especially because we were going to a university or a college that, is that me? A university that just, was not as expensive. And I was like, dang, my life would have been so much easier, at least for those 4 years. And like when I was 26, I was like, I would have done 8 years in the military by now.
Yeah.
I was like,
but think about the opportunity cost, right? Like
what's,
what else would you have done in the meantime? And then because we went to a college that was smaller, it's not as expensive. The price of college is probably going to go up. So like, would you have used that money now? Because if not, if you don't use the bill, your kids could use it. And so,
I didn't even know that.
Apparently that's like a thing. I'm not speaking from experience, but that's just from military friends I've heard.
Dang. Yeah. I think about those opportunities and I was like, dang. I'm probably that's part is like I wish I would have had it. Like I wish I would have had that. We went to your uncle's one time because he was a sergeant in the military. Went to. I still have the shirt he gave us.
He gave us a shirt.
He gave us a shirt. You don't remember that? We both got a shirt, a U.S. Army shirt.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was really nice. He took care of us. We told him about, hey, listen, we're thinking about joining. Give us the scoop. Like, be honest and be for real for us. Like, what is it about?
Yeah.
That was good.
That was a far drive too. I remember.
That was far. We rode together. We were in your Ford Focus. Was it a Focus?
Yeah, man, I'm surprised that thing made it back.
Bro,
my wife now. The first time I met her, and I went to her parents' house.
How did you guys meet? How did that happen?
So when I was at UGA, so I remember I used to work at the car parts place, Advance.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that part.
So when I transferred to Georgia, I transferred to a store down there, and then this guy came in, and I was already like a pretty decent salesperson, and then I was talking with him a little bit. We kind of hit it off, and he brought me on an interview at Best Buy. I had no clue about like interviews and stuff. Apparently, I like showed up in like tennis shoes or something. I don't know what I was doing. I was just a mess. And anyways, I got into Best Buy, and we met at Best Buy. I had to train her. So they have this thing where,
okay, got you.
Yeah, so I was in the mobile section. That's like a specialty sales because, you're dealing with contracts and third-party vendors and, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, all that stuff.
But was this after you graduated school or this is during school?
While I was in school,
okay,
it was my senior year.
Okay.
Yeah, we met and then, just kind of hit it off from
Nice,
there.
bro. You shot your shot.
Yeah. Well, he was like, oh, I heard this new person on. You're going to have to train him. I was like, listen, if I'm gonna have to train people, I need to get paid a little bit
raise,
more. I was trying to get paid. He's like, no, I think you'll do it for free. I was like, why is that? He's like, you'll see.
Snap! So he knew.
Yeah,
he knew. That's awesome, man. And so you guys ended up. When did you get married?
We got married in 21, so a little over 2 years. But we've been together since like 16. So
gotcha.
Beginning of 2016. So.
Oh man,
closing in on a decade.
When did you propose? When did you get engaged? And
so
how was it? How was it?
It's weird. So our timeline's a little weird. So we started hanging out, like started dating in 2016. Started hanging out in like late 2015. Started dating early 2016.
Okay.
And then I went to work after I graduated, and then I ended up getting a ring. I think early or mid 2017, maybe late 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And I held on to it. And
The ring.
The ring in 2017, I got it. And then we moved a couple times, and I was like waiting for the right time and all of that stuff. And then, you know, it was funny because I had the ring. So she was looking at rings. She fell in love with this one ring. And then I was like, all right, let's put it on hold. It was at one of these stores. It was actually at a Macy's store.
Okay.
And then I was working the next day at the Macy's, and I got the ring, and I told her, and she's like, oh, did you get the ring? Yeah. I was like, okay. So I went to go get it. So I wanted it to be a surprise, right? But the lady, it was like a seasonal person, because we'd hire people who were seasonal just for the Q4. It was like they took it off hold, and they sold it because they wanted to get the commission, because it was an expensive ring. And she started crying on the phone. Yeah, and I was like, oh man, this is like, I felt kind of bad. But then I was like, I want it to be a surprise. But then she would like send me rings like every little bit. Yeah, like in 2017, 2018, 2019, if we got in an argument or something, she's like, you don't even talk about rings anymore. Like, you never want to look at rings, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, if I look at rings, like, you might like something else. I'll be in big trouble. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was, I held on to it till like 2019. We got engaged in August 2019, right before COVID. And our goal was to, say we're going to live back at my mom and stepdad. They had a similar situation with, like, they'd redone a basement. There's a full kitchen down there. It's on driveway. Right. There's a gym area down there. So it was nice. We're going to stay there. I was going to keep working, save. We're going to get married, buy a house, have a down payment.
Good plan.
Then COVID
hit.
Crashed it. Crashed the plan.
Yeah. So you were planning on getting married before, or at least
we were going to have a 2-year engagement. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
And
so when did you actually end up doing it then?
We got engaged in August 2019, got married September 21.
Nice, bro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In the middle of grad school. Yeah.
Dang, you really sent it. How was the wedding?
It was good. She planned most of it. I didn't know a ton about the wedding industry, and I don't know, just like a little bit, it's like a girls thing. I probably could have been a little bit more involved. There's like certain things where I was like, no, I think we should really, because I wasn't working at the time. So like our whole wedding plan we had to like really prioritize what we were going to do, because we're expecting to have 2 incomes. And then when I fell off from COVID and started grad school and like made that pivot, income kind of disappears a little bit. Right. So man, we could talk about that.
No, we're gonna get into the mix for sure. So that's a good transitioning, talking about school and then what happened with COVID. So you graduated from did you go to Georgia? Did you get your undergrad from Georgia? Mm-hmm. And then you still went back to get your master's, MBA, right?
Yeah.
All right. MBA. Talk to me about that.
So Georgia, I graduated from Georgia in 2016. Okay. Is that when you graduated from GGC? Or
I graduated 15? From no. I actually took 6 years to complete my undergrad, but I did my master's on time. So, because I got sick during the process. Yeah. And then my first year, like at GGC, you knew I was just bullshitting. I was just messing around. Yeah. So it totally took me about 7 years. So I graduated from Georgia State in 2017.
Okay. Yeah. So I graduated in 16. I got a job working for Macy's as an executive with them.
I remember that.
And then worked there for 4 years. COVID hit, and pretty much everything kind of froze. Right. And we ended up all getting furloughed. So
furloughed, is that when so they tell you you're not working, but
you're not getting so you're not fired, but nobody's coming into the stores. Gotcha. And then your pay stops. So you're still employed technically.
I guess until they
bring you back. Yeah. So they slowly. So I was thinking, this will be just a nice little vacation. I need to enjoy it. So the first like week or two, I'm just trying to kick back, relax, enjoy. And I'm just expecting a call, like, we need to make a call to come back. And since I had moved back with my mom and stepdad, his mom was living at the house. Okay. And she was elderly, and she was on oxygen and all that stuff. And so I was like, we were all a little uncertain about what was, what COVID was and all of that stuff. So we were just like, dang, let's, I told them, I was like, I want to play it safe. Like, I don't want to go to work and be around stuff and then bring something back to her and all that stuff. So I was like, I don't want to do that. And they were going to slowly start calling people back in whatever order. And then I got an email one day, and they were like, oh, we're going to, like, as a company, we're going to be cutting positions. Okay. and all of that stuff. But during that time, after the first 2 weeks, I was like, oh, this isn't just a ordinary vacation, right? And I was like, okay, this might be the pivot I needed, because I was thinking about doing like a PMBA, professional MBA. So you keep working and do an MBA.
Okay.
But then there's a significant cost associated with that, because most of the time your employers will pay for it. So, prices can increase, just across the board on different programs. So you're looking at coming out, maybe if you're paying for it out of pocket, over $100,000 in debt or more.
And that's just for a 2-year program, right?
Yeah. 2 years, just kind of like a part-time thing.
Yeah.
And I was looking to try to make a career pivot, not like continue moving up vertically where I was at.
Macy's.
Yeah.
Right.
At Macy's. And so, it's hard to grow your career with a company that wasn't doing too well. And if a company's getting smaller and you're trying to go up, there's less opportunity available, right?
Right.
So I was looking to make a pivot, and luckily I say luckily, but everything that happened, I was applying for jobs and doing all this stuff and just couldn't get any traction. I didn't understand why, but it's interesting how when you look back, everything makes sense. So that happened, didn't get called back. And at the time I was like, oh, I'm really trying to pursue this. I was like reaching out to people just as a first gen college graduate. I didn't know, nobody had gone to regular undergrad school, let alone graduate school.
Right.
So I'm like, I know somebody who went to law school. I know somebody who went to whatever, maybe did a master's in something else. So I was trying to reach out to see like, what is grad school? Like, what does that process look like? And I got lucky, because I applied, and I thought about applying. I was like, this is the opportunity. Somebody had talked to me on the phone. I had a conversation, and they were like, if you want to make a pivot in your career, you need to go to the full-time MBA. Don't do the PMBA. That's with people who are like in their company, and to get to the next step, you need this other
master's
degree.
Right.
So after that, I started looking into it, and I was like, oh, they offer things like scholarships, and you just work for the university to get a little bit of income while you're coming in.
Yeah.
So I applied. I wrote a whole essay in one night about what I was going to do.
Oh, okay.
And I talked to one of my friends who was in grad school, and he was like, this is not this kind of, because I think I put in there I want to have my goal is help companies make more profits and this and that. And I'm like, is that really my goal? Because I was just researching stuff online, and that's just kind of what I had seen. And I was like, no, I don't. I was like, yeah, I see where he's coming from now. So I'd revised I trashed the whole thing, and I would spend hours a day just sitting there. I might spend 8 hours a day, and I'd write one paragraph. And I put a lot of work into this essay.
Did you have to write sorry to cut you off, but did you have to write, what is that called?
A statement of purpose.
Yeah, it's a statement of purpose.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh,
that
okay.
essay. That's what I'm saying, that essay. So a statement of purpose. And so I really thought through, how can I interweave my experience and the current environment, macroeconomic, social environment of everything going together, really the goal should be helping companies maintain a solvent strategies to be able to pivot to meet, changes in consumer preferences and all of that. So this alcohol distillery switching to making hand sanitizer and doing all of these things, right? So
you're hitting us with that knowledge, Carson.
Yeah,
hold on. What happened to the old Carson, bro? Nah, keep going.
And so I was helping, had reached out trying to get some feedback, tighten this up. And then I was like, okay, you submitted this application. They were like, okay, the next step is you go through an interview process. So I was like, okay, if I was going to interview somebody for school, what is questions I would ask? And I had I did a lot of prep work for this, because if this didn't pan out, I didn't really have a backup plan. You know, I was like, military might be coming back on the table.
You already had your degree though, so at least you would have gone commission.
I was trying to. I was applying to so many places, and things just weren't working out. But God always has a plan. So
awesome, man.
I wrote down all these different responses, and I was just trying to think of every different thing. Had the interview. Guess it went pretty well.
So you had an interview to get into the program. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's in Georgia. The program is University of Georgia, right?
Yeah, and I had reached out to some of the admissions people, try to explain, ask some questions about the program and what the process was like and all of that. And I'm fortunate enough, I got accepted, went to the program. I was taking it very seriously, because I think when I was in undergrad, didn't take stuff super serious, but having work experience, you're a little bit older, more mature. You're like, okay, this is the time I can invest in myself and really try to build up a skill set and have a safe environment, so to speak, to do so. And so that's a long-winded way of how I got into to Georgia and the program.
I appreciate you sharing that though, because I love, and there's something about my podcast that I love is like for you, like the struggles or the problems or what was tough and what was difficult. I want people to hear that, and that's what I pride my podcast in, because a lot of the times, especially when you're growing up, go to school, if you go to undergrad or grad school, apply to grad school, get a job. Like it seems so simple. And you're like, yeah, we can all. But the process is so long. It's so much, like so many things happened. And I appreciate you going into the weeds, because that makes people have a different perspective, either if they're trying to go into a master's program or if they're trying to see what it takes. Someone like you, it's a good example. And I guess I'll share my experience myself, because you don't know this. So when I was applying to my grad school, since I already had gone to Georgia State, usually when to get into a master's program, I don't know if you had to take the GRE.
So here's what happened. Here's another thing.
Okay, talk to me before I get into mine, so you can go ahead.
Yeah. So with the whole COVID thing, a lot of the normal requirements were waived.
Oh, that's
And
right.
so I was like, man, because this is where I learned. I was like, if you want something to change in your life, you really have to put in a lot of effort. Like I was like, oh, I want to go back to school. I want to do this. I want to do that. But my actions wouldn't meet what I was actually saying. Right. So when I got home after work, it's not like I was studying for the GMAT or doing all these things. So I was able to get a waiver just with some of my work experience, and I think some of my undergrad grades and stuff like that. So some of the people I knew who were in my grad school did take the GMAT or the GRE.
Okay.
I ended up getting a waiver to get through. School, which is crazy, because I'm like, I wonder if I took it, if I'd get the same sort of if I'd get in, I'd be curious to know how I would do on that. But I ended up like graduating top 3 in the class. Like, so with honors, I didn't make a single B in the entire program. I had a B.
Are you serious?
I had a B+ in one of the classes with an optional final. And I took the final because I'm not getting a B in the class. And I took the optional final as like this long exam. And I was like, because you have work experience. So I was like, I'm going to like really, like that was one of my goals. Like I'm going to make the most of this experience, like see how hard I could actually work and like build the discipline.
Congratulations, first of all, man. I'm so happy for you, because that does take a lot of discipline.
Yeah, it was like there's 3 of us who got the award in the full-time program, so we don't know who was number 1, but it was one of us.
Oh, you guys don't know who's number 1. You just know that you're top 3.
Well, yeah, so that's why I say I was graduated top of my class, because that's pretty much top of the class. So.
Wow, dude. That's awesome, bro.
But I think I really took in each grad school program's a little different, but I really took the academic focus and really like honed in on that. But a lot of programs are networking, and you like that's a huge part of the program. And that's probably like I did really well in one area and probably like didn't do as well in some of the other areas, like networking and like building all these different friendships and stuff. Just because with being married and going through all of that, you're totally different. Yeah.
Man, hey, first of all, if whoever's watching or listening, the reason I'm smiling so much and I'm happy is because if you knew Carson, 12 years ago, it's a complete change, and it's for the good. Like, I can see the maturity in you. I can see like you took things really seriously, and I know I feel like I know what that's like, because people say the same thing about me, because you used to be a bunch of clowns, bro. Yeah. We used to clown so much. It's not even funny, bro. But I'm so glad that we were able to go through a lot of life experiences and even mature, and our knowledge, and I feel like our wisdom has gotten, big, for the lack of better words. But that's so cool. I didn't know that you had graduate school. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
That's a big flex.
Thank you.
That's a big flex. I love that, man. What was I going to? Oh, I was going to share my experience with you. I had something similar with I wouldn't say the way because when I was trying to get into my master's program, right, it was hard to find a job with I had a BS in economics. But I knew that when I got into the program of economics, I needed to get at least a master so I can like find something good. So I started trying to apply to different programs, but they all needed a GRE. And then I was like, bro, I took that test like twice, probably like twice or 3 times. But one time I walked out. I said, fuck this. I'm like, I'm out, bro. I can't. Like, I was making it happen, and then until I wasn't, and I was like, this test is like 3-4 hours. I'm like, I don't know if going or getting my master's is it, but I walked out. So I had already started the application at Georgia State, and they called me like, "Hey, we saw your interest in Georgia State. Like, is there a reason why you haven't finished your application?" I was like, in all honesty, I'm struggling with the GRE, so I don't think I'm gonna continue applying. But she was like, "Well, no, it's okay because you came to Georgia. You're a Georgia State student. You don't need the GRE in order for you to get in." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Well, on top of that, whoever I was talking to, I was like, hey." I need, you need 3 letters of recommendations.
Yeah.
And I was like, I only got 2 because the other professor, she was out of town or something. I didn't know until later, but she didn't respond back. And I was like, man. So I told her, I was like, I only got 2. So I don't even think I can meet that requirement. She was like, no, don't worry. We'll take you with 2. So I don't know if they needed students to get in, but I was like, I don't care. Like if you're giving me the opportunity, I'm taking it. And she was like, no, you only need 2. And if you submit those and you submit your application, and whatever. So when I was writing the statement of purpose, you know how you did it like very professional, like you did like your research and stuff. I did it more on the side of like, I was just very straight up with them. I was like, look, you can see my grades in my undergrad. They're not the best, but I promise you, if you give me the opportunity to get in, and I know a lot of people say, don't speak like that, especially in papers. But I was like, I'm going to be honest, man. Like the reason I want to get in is because I want to find, a better job. I want to make sure that I have eventually like a good career. And I need, I really need it. But, I'm going to work into it. I'm going to better myself. And I know that I'll do well or whatever. So I opened just kind of like my heart into that paper. And I was like, send it, pray to God. Here you go. See what happens. So in Thanksgiving of 2016, I got the notice that I got accepted to Georgia State. Yeah. And that's when like my whole program went in. But I think one of the major reasons I also even got in is because the head of the economics department was teaching an economics class. I think it was I forgot what it's called, but the end of like the end of the program, you always take a class. It's called capstone or something like that.
It's like a learning, spiritual learning.
Yeah. So it was but he was the head of the head of the department was teaching. So I became good friends with him, and obviously when you saw a letter from him, it's like. Yeah, it might be worth something. Yeah. So I submitted those, and it was that's how I got into grad school, man.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
it's amazing where if you don't have people who have gone through it before, they can't tell you things to look into or questions to ask. Right? You just kind of got to figure it out on your own. And that's kind of, I think, what both of us
went through. Man.
What we both went through it.
And that's true though. Like. You don't know what you don't know, and once you get into like the whole mix, it's like it's so hard. And just like you, I decided to get better at grad school, and I think on my end, I didn't do as well academically. I did well enough to like graduate, but I think my strong suit was more like the social network because when I got an internship at the CDC. I made really good connections, and I showed my work ethic, and that's something that I can't control, right? And when they saw that, it's like that's attractive to anybody. So that's how I got into like where I'm at now, with in the federal government. And I'm like, because academically, that was a struggle for me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that was
I think a lot of work ethic translates into academic performance, right?
Right.
So when you get the work experience, I think the benefit for me was like the maturity and like building a very strong work ethic during the course of my time, like between undergrad and grad school.
Right.
And so when I went back to grad school, I was like, oh, I know I can work really hard. I can work harder than other people. Like I've been recognized as like a high performer. So you like build confidence through action and like specific delivery of, results. Right.
Right.
And so I just kind of took that same thought process and like, I guess kind of confidence moving into grad school and kind of applied it. And I was like, no, like if I want to get all A's, like I can. Yeah. And like what's preventing me from doing that?
Right.
Right. So
good. No, that's good, bro. So tell us now then, what do you do? What do you do for work now after that process went through the Macy's? I know you also have a side job. Can you tell us about that? Because that's so interesting.
Yeah. So currently I'm in banking. So it's like an internal consulting role.
Okay.
At a bank. And so we
wait, you say, so you moved to North Carolina, you said, right?
Charlotte.
So Bank of America.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Bank of America. Okay.
Yeah, Bank of America. So I got a job with Bank of America, and there's this program we're in and it's basically internal consulting. So we do everything. Like there might be an initiative or some capability that a team needs help with. So like, for example, on one of the projects, it was looking competitively across the landscape, and we found an opportunity to like build out a capability that wasn't there before.
Okay.
So it was like chat functionality with a team. So they started with like nobody there. They put like 2 people on chat. The group I was with was me and a couple people, actually two other people, came in, like took it from 2 to 50, built out all the infrastructure, built out the training, built out the performance and scorecard metrics for that. And then like all of the reporting, like how to track performance, what the performance should be, how to monitor it, how to, and all of that.
Yeah.
So
wow, dude, that sounds
like,
awesome.
Things like that. Yeah.
That's
so
legit.
It's fun. Yeah.
No, that sounds legit, bro.
Yeah.
I like imagine. Would you have imagined yourself, like several years ago, and being in such a? I feel like it's a really like privileged position. That's awesome, man. That's
I think people. It's interesting because when I was working in at my other job, people would complain. It's just like people always want to complain about something. So like now that I look back and I have the perspective, I'm like, it's a whole different type of job, right? But like people will still complain about stuff, and I'm like, I'm like, if you have the perspective of knowing like some people, like work really hard and in not super nice conditions.
Yeah.
And I think we're just really lucky to have, have that opportunity. So I think having the perspective and being able to look back on other things.
That's good you say that perspective because personally for me, when I was in the beginning years of undergrad, I used to work for my stepdad's company for the painting company, but it wasn't like I was in the office. I went to paint, like, wake up at 5:30 in the morning and, come back at home late at night. I remember one summer, bro, I was waking up at 5:30. I will go into the shop where everybody gets together and then we will head to the job site. And, we'll start work around like 7:30 or 8, but we don't start getting paid until we start working, right? That's just how the paint industry goes. And then once you're done with like, I guess the job or whatever you're doing that day, that's when the pay ends. Regardless, we used to work until like 5 a.m. to like 11 o'clock for like the summer, bro. Like the whole summer that I was in, like after our first year at GGC.
Yeah.
And I was working. And I'm like, damn, I'm putting in 70, 80 hour weeks. And now that I found a job like this and I work from home, by the way, like, I'm remote. I'm like, there's no excuse for me not to do this. You know what I mean? Like I used to be on the other side of things, like what you're saying. And I'm like, this to me is like, I'm about to, and it shows in my performance and what I do at work. It's like, I know what I can do. I know what I've been through. I know how hard I've worked. And like, now I'm appreciative of what I have and, how physically less straining it is on the body and even on my mind when it comes to working, an office job or working at home and remote. And I'm like, I'm about to kill it because, I already been through the ringer, bro.
Exactly. So you get the work ethic and then it kind of translates into performance later. Yeah. So it carries through.
This is important for somebody who's listening and, thinking about like going to school or grad school, anything. It doesn't matter what you're in because we're more in like the business. I'm in the economic side. But even then, it's like, I think it's important for them just to see like what the process is like. It's not perfect, man.
Yeah. Everybody has their own path and there's no right way to do it. Yeah. And there's no secret formula. It's
when you look at it, it looks great. But like you got to learn, what did you go through to get there?
When you string the process along, like when it looks back, it's like, oh, everything was a smooth transition. That was always the plan. And it's like, well, plans kind of change and you have to be willing to change and roll with the tides. Cause I mean, I was applying for jobs and things would like fall through at the last second. And I was like, man, I really am not.
So hard, dude.
Cause I was like, man, I really am not liking it here. Like at first I was like, oh, I see you can like really move up and there's like a clear progression on like in terms of upward mobility at the company, Macy's, right? And then I realized how important your manager was, because if you work with somebody who isn't the best and isn't motivating and doesn't have vision and all these other things, like the person you work for is super important, just as important, if not more, than the job that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like really not having a good time before everything happened. So I'm like, I'm glad everything worked out the way it did, but it's not a smooth ride.
I feel you on that. Did you feel like the ROTC program you were in, like you mentioned that a little bit earlier, like it helped you with like a little bit of like even leadership or even you using that in your resume? I still use it in my resume.
Really?
The ROTC
That thing
experience?
has fallen way off the
Nah,
list.
yeah. Well, for me, I still have it just in case. But now that I've been going up in my company, it's
Uh-huh.
actually the last thing on my.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I've always used it, especially when I was getting like opportunities, like because a lot of people or companies or agencies they want leadership experience.
Mhm.
But if you've been in ROTC, what's better way to get experience than teamwork at
Right.
in a military class?
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But transitioning into talking more about your side job, bro. Talk to us. I was excited to hear that you were doing more things with weddings and stuff. Can you talk to us about your experience with that and how did you get started? What got you into it? And what is it that you do?
Yeah. So what kind of got me into it was after I got married, I was talking with my wife and I was like, it was actually a pretty fun experience. It was a pretty fun time. Like we a lot of people like we were so stressed we didn't even get to enjoy our wedding day. That wasn't the case for us. I was like, it was a great time because I was like, you just try to be in the moment. And I was like, all these people are here kind of celebrating and, celebrating you. And they're all here for you at this one occasion. Because we got married up in North Carolina. So it was a destination wedding. And
Nice.
we had a really good time. And I was like, it'd be pretty cool to be in that industry. But rewind a couple months before that. So I have braces on now. I end up having to get this like jaw surgery because my teeth were, even after I got my braces off, they weren't ever like completely straight, even in high school. And in college, they weren't straight. And I was like, always kind of bothered me a little bit. So my wife ended up getting a job at this dental office. And I went there, talked with the orthodontist, and I was like, I'm going to get some braces. I'll pay for them and it'll be smooth sailing. Let's get some metal in my mouth. They'll straighten them out.
Yeah.
Make sure I wear my retainer and we'll be off to the races. Then she comes back. She's like, "Oh, okay. So you have all these different issues. Like you need to get here's how you fix it. All these surgeries." And I was like, "What?" And so I was like, "Okay, well, like what?" I'm like, let me like digest this. So I started doing some research and I came across this guy who had like gone through the same sort of jaw surgery. And I was trying to he'd like documented his recovery online
on YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah.
Nice.
And so I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And then one of the people actually, oddly enough, who worked at the dental office was getting married. And we went to her wedding. And we're sitting in the crowd. And I look over. I turn to my wife. And I look at the guy videoing the wedding. I was like, "Babe, that's the guy from YouTube, from the jaw surgery."
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
It was wild. And so she's like, "And?" I was like, "Well, I'm going to go talk to him." She's like, "No, you're not. He's working." I was like, "Yeah, but I got to go talk to him."
Yeah, I feel you on that. I would too.
Yeah. And so I start introduce myself and I start talking with him a little bit. And I was like, telling him, "Hey, I'm going through this jaw surgery thing. Like, what do you, are you filming weddings? Are you doing pictures? Like, what do you do?" He was like, "Oh, I do video, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, let me get your card." And because we're wanting to do video for our wedding, but the wedding industry is a little weird. Like some venues, our venue had like a vendor list. So you had to choose somebody off their list, right? So they don't allow external people coming in, though we didn't know that until after we had asked about it. But I had his card, and then fast forward to after our wedding, I was like, it'd be cool to get in the industry. And I was like, "Oh, well, we know somebody in the industry. Like maybe I should like talk with him." And I think they had posted something about needing a videographer. I was like, "Oh, this could be really cool," because this is before we knew where we're moving to after school.
Right.
So long story short, I like reached out to him. We connected again. We're talking about like the jaw surgery and all this other stuff. I started shadowing him at some weddings and I was like, "Oh, this is actually like..."
Oh, he let you shadow him.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Well, because I was going to work for him.
Oh, okay. Got you.
And so, but it'll all come back in a second. And so I was like, "Oh, this is great." And so moving into the summer, I like got an internship. We didn't know if we were still going to be remote, if we are going to have to move, where the internship was going to be. It was with the bank. And then, I was about to start working with him. And he was like, "Oh, we're about to buy all the equipment." And as soon as they were saying that, we got the offer and we're like, "Oh, we got to move to North Carolina." I was like, so I told him, I was like, out of respect, I was like, "I want to put a pause before you spend all this money on getting all this equipment." Right.
Right.
And so it kind of like ended there, we're just getting settled in Charlotte, but it kept being in the back of my mind. I was like, man, maybe we should try to build something up here. Like, let me shadow him again and try to like see if I could, because I shadowed him like 2 to 3 weddings. I was like, I don't feel super comfortable being able to film somebody's
Wedding,
entire day. Yeah, like that.
Especially a wedding, bro.
Yeah,
How special that is.
It's a once in a lifetime thing. There's no redos. There's no, oh, can you re-walk back down the aisle and do the kiss again? Yeah, there's none of that.
I wasn't recording.
Yeah, no. Oops. And so, yeah, so I didn't feel super comfortable. But long story short, we kept in contact. We were going to do some business and stuff together. And we decided, you know, like it'd be best if I just do my thing in Charlotte. But anyways, fast forward to this year, I got a call and he was like, hey, we need somebody to help fill in, like something kind of happened with one of our shooters. And I was like, okay, well, like how many weddings? It was a lot.
Oh,
like,
snap.
So I was coming back almost every week, and there's like some weddings. I mean, some months we did 10 weddings in a month. So I was taking PTO from work and balancing. So there was like a time period in May where I worked like 3 weeks straight, didn't have a day off.
Damn.
Yeah, so I was driving back. I'd work Thursday, be filming a wedding Friday, Saturday, Sunday, work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'd be off Thursday to film a wedding, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, like it was intense.
So you were assisting.
I was working for, they were outsourcing the work to us. So I would work for his company, and then, you know, like business gets a little complicated, but long story short, I was working under their company. And then this, you know, started my own thing, and we had talked with him, and I was asking like, hey, he knew I wanted to do my own thing. We're in totally different markets, right? Like we're not nobody's driving that many hours to film a wedding, turn around and drive back. Right. So he was like, yeah, that's like totally fine. So he's a good friend now, but you know, he let me use any of the footage I get to help build my business, my book of business, and all of that. So you
just started your own business now in
this year. Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's fire, bro.
Yeah.
So you said you have a website and everything?
Yeah.
I'll make sure to link that on the anything that you want me to link, I'll link to.
Okay. Yeah.
So what are you working on? So you have a website. Do you have like an Instagram?
Yeah, we have an Instagram. We just started the Instagram. We're gonna have a YouTube channel. We'll be featured on like.
Hey, what's up, my boy? Welcome to the club, baby. I know. What's up?
So it's just a good place to get exposure, to store your work, to see a portfolio. You know, it's like it just makes sense.
That's awesome though, man. Like I feel like that's also a hobby that you have, that it's like, you know, especially if you're passionate about it and you really enjoy it, it's fun.
It was weird. It was so out of the blue, because when I worked at Best Buy, at first I worked in the TV section, then I worked in mobile because it's like specialty. Okay. And people would always need help in cameras, and nobody went to the camera section because I was like, what are all these different things, like lenses and this sort of camera versus this one?
What does it do?
What a megapixel, and what does the sensor mean? And like, what does the different lens numbers mean? And what is aperture, and then ISO, and then shutter speed, and like, what does all these things even mean?
So do you do all the editing? I'm assuming, like everything, like
we'll take care of that, or we'll have somebody who will help us out with that.
Nice. So that's okay. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, that's fire. So what you're saying is I need to call you when I get married.
Yeah.
Hey, well, if you need help with like, you know, YouTube, I know I'm doing like shorts and everything, and I do TikTok, but TikTok So TikTok is cool still for me. I post things, but it's hard to get really that exposure, because now like they're making you pay to like get, you know,
to get like featured or something.
To get more views and stuff. But YouTube right now, they're like, you know, content game is like really nice, and like the way the algorithm is working, it's like, you know, my channel's growing because of that too. So I'm concentrating a lot on YouTube. But if you need help with YouTube and anything, bro, like, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me know. I've been working on it for a minute.
I think it's so cool that people start YouTube channels and stuff now. Like I see people from high school, like remember Dylan, he has a YouTube channel.
He has a YouTube channel too?
Dude, he has like over 500,000 subscribers.
No way.
Dude, he
what does he do?
Like riding motorcycles around.
Oh, that's fire.
He has 500,000 subscribers.
That is dope. He's doing good, man.
Yeah. And I was like, it's so cool, because I think the internet is just such a place where everybody's going to go and just try to pull people down. And it's like,
no, there's so many good things.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good things out there. And I think it's really cool that people are putting themselves out there and trying to do something.
There are those people who are dicks though. And excuse my language, but they can see something good, and they want to see the bad, and they're just
they gotta push somebody down to push themselves up. And it's
no, that's true. There's a lot of people who are just like, I feel you on that though. That's but it is what it is. Even when I started my YouTube channel, it's funny because I used to make some videos, like my first like 2 or 3 videos, bro. I used to do a lot of You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's my first video. Like I was like, and I was just doing it to try to help people. It wasn't.
Yeah.
But I got so
Destroyed?
many destroyed, bro. Like they were like, this is a hard listen. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to help you guys out, man. Like, I just sharing my experience, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But eventually I had to know, like, I had to, you know, speak a little bit better or say things. I still do the and shit, but like, I've gotten better at talking at the camera and talking at people and stuff. And people who, you know, obviously like my channel, they subscribe. But even that itself, man, like you have to learn a little bit. Cause I feel like, you know what, a lot of things have gotten so professional, the way people speak, you know, they sound like professional speakers nowadays.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I need to get just a little bit better than, you know, just
You got to constantly
work on
constantly
it, man.
work on yourself. You know?
It's a game.
Communication. It's all.
Yeah.
It's never gonna change. You
Yeah.
just it's like an endless runway type thing. You're always can get a little better. Like professional speakers who, you know, they keep investing time and money and resources into getting even better.
Yeah.
Like hand gestures and body. You know,
Right.
I think you remember in that class where they were like, oh yeah, 70% of language is unspoken or all
It's
this
your
other
body,
stuff.
yeah,
body
it's
language and all
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I remember seeing that. Then that's important too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even people who sing, they use the way they use their hands and stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it elevates the music depending on what they're doing. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel you on that. Is there anything that you like to share? What are your hobbies, Ryan? Is there anything besides what you're doing with your second job? I'm sure it's like time consuming, but is there anything that you guys are into with your wife or like what's been going on? Any kids coming soon? What's the plan? What's up?
Yeah, we definitely want some kids in the future. You know, I think God has his time for
How old are you
everything.
now? 30?
30. I just turned 31. Yeah,
When?
the 26th.
Oh, that dude! Happy
forgot.
birthday, yo! I just forgot. Okay, no, but I gave you I think a day late, happy belated, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
31?
Yeah, we're getting up there, man. I was like,
Woo!
man, like 15 years ago, I'd already been driving. I've been driving for.
You've been out for a minute. You think about that, you're like,
I've been driving for longer than I've been like more than half my life now.
dude, these stories that we're even telling you guys, we were 19, bro. 18,
If that
19,
18, 19,
18,
yeah.
19. Wow, bro. Now I'm 30, you're 31.
Yeah.
Damn,
Like there's a lot of.
that's wild. Go
I mean,
ahead, do you think it's more?
You remember when I think you came over to my house for something and you spent the night.
Oh, you want to tell that story? I'm down to tell that story. People
I don't even remember what half the story is.
So what we did was, well, I think there was 2 separate nights. First of all, you this is cool that we're sharing this. You taught me and your friends taught me what mudding was. And you're like, Carlos, you trying to hang out tonight? And I was like, what? It was my friend's trying to go mudding. And I'm like, mudding? I'm like, what that doesn't sound like mud? Like, yeah, you know, you ride your cars into the mud, you know, because it just had rain. What is it called? The clear?
The clearing. By
the
Brooke.
clearing.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what the hell is a clearing? I'm like, what's that? So we take our, you know, we go in your friend's truck or whatever, and we get in.
Was it the truck or that Jeep?
It was a Jeep. It was a Jeep. No, they had 2 of them. One of them had a Jeep.
Josh
and
had
one
one. Josh had the truck, and then Tanner had the Jeep.
The Jeep. So I think I was in the truck though. And I'm not sure if we were in the back because the cars was we were in the back, and you told me to come in the back with you. And I was like, all right, let's see what happens. Whoop. Whoop. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? We're hanging on to our lives.
The truck bed flying up like 3 feet in the air.
We're 3 feet in the air, bro. And we're just like, I was like, girl, so this is what you guys do? I'm like, damn. And once that, once I guess we ended mudding, I said we started drinking some beers or whatever, and we were just chilling in the back, just vibing, bro. What a vibe that was, though. We were just talking smack, just vibing,
just hanging out.
19-year-olds, just obviously we weren't supposed to be drinking, but we were vibing too. Yeah. It was a good time. And then the night that you're talking about, we went also again to your house, and I think Tanner was there and somebody else. Another guy. Was it Josh that was there? It was somebody else.
I think
I don't remember who it was, but it was somebody else, and we started drinking, and we got you. That's what you don't remember, because we got you fucked up. Because we were taking shots with like I think Coke. Not that Coke, but like Coca-Cola. Yeah. So you were taking, I don't know what we were doing, but we got you lit, Carson. I think I still had videos up to one point of that night. Man, but let's not.
Those are gone.
Bro, you got lit, dude. Have you told your wife about this? Because you got super lit.
I was never a big drinker.
That's the reason you were out.
I know, because I never was big into drinking. Even now, like I rarely drink.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I remember back in the day, it was a fun thing to do. I guess I don't know.
Crazy, bro.
I think you had spent the night, and then
I spent the night.
We're supposed to go to school the next day, and
I think we missed that part. we missed that part. I think I slept over your house that day, and the next morning I was so tired, dude. I was bent.
I know I was
spent, bro.
I don't even remember what. It must have been like a Tuesday night for like no reason,
dude. It was just we were just, I don't know, again, college, man. We had so much free
Isn't that
time.
weird? We just had like that was like fun to us. We just hang out and just chat somewhere.
Yeah, and just not do anything.
That was a fun time.
So simple.
I know.
Simple. Ever and I, you remember Ever, right? Ever and I always talk about like how when we were at GGC time, we obviously were always worried about our future, but I feel like that year, that semester, and the time we were hanging out, like I used to go back to home from school, and I would just take a nap, and you would just vibe out like the rest of the day, or school was chill, and it felt so simple. Like times were so simple, and everything else eventually got like everything else.
Everything just starts getting more and more complicated.
Man.
You're like, oh, if I just had this, then life would be more simple. And it's like, oh,
bro.
You get this, but life increases in complexity with how much you're getting, right?
Bro, GGC was good times. I'm planning on having more friends here from that around that time. From the GGC days, because I feel like that was a great time for me. Even though like academically I didn't do well, but I built a lot of relationships.
Yeah, I think even then, like it's such a early in college is such a pivotal time with trying to figure out who you are. Because I was always like,
bro.
I was like trying to be the funny person. I would just try to say anything just to try to get laughs and be funny with people. And I just really didn't care what everybody thought. I'd like do whatever just to try to get laughs, or whatever I thought was cool at the time I would do. And, it's just... what
was that you said earlier that now Facebook reminds you, oh, do you remember this? And you look at some of the posts you made, and I was delete.
I'm like, immediately. I was like, I see pictures I have on there. I'm like, ooh, remove that.
Remove it.
I'm like, what was I thinking? I don't know. It was weird.
I used to post and I used to text, like, you know how when you say you would just write a U instead of YOU?
Oh, man.
Things like that, I would delete. Bro, I've deleted so much in the past couple of years from like Facebook that like delete.
I'm like, I'm gonna have no memories left.
Yeah, I'm gonna have no memories left.
I'm like, that's fine.
The things you used to post.
Oh man, it's wild.
Yeah,
I remember like even maybe Trevor was over at my house. Was that it?
I think Trevor.
Yeah,
I think that's him.
Yeah.
He
was just in town this weekend.
Where did he
this
move?
week for? Yeah, he lives in Colorado now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he moved. Yeah, he was going to school, I think, at some point, and
it had to be Trevor then.
Yeah,
it had to be Trevor. That sounds more familiar to me.
Yeah,
than that
remember
time.
Trevor Reynolds?
Trevor Reynolds.
He was like blonde, high school.
I remember that name now.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, that could have been him, but at the house, or it could have been Tanner's brother. Or...
Hold up. Now I'm thinking about who else could have been though. No, I think it had to be.
It had to be Josh or Tanner.
One of the two. Yeah, no, it's cool though. Your dad was cool though. Every time we were around, he was chill.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a good time.
How's he doing?
He's good. He doesn't live there anymore. They moved after I got out of school and everything.
Okay, I'm glad he's doing good though.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Dang, so many stories, bro, that we could get into, but eventually, if you come back to the podcast, we gotta talk about all the good things and all the good stories.
Yeah.
So before we end, last week I did a would you rather little just questions and with my siblings, and I thought it was really funny and interesting, and YouTube loved it. So we're gonna go through that again with you. I'm planning on making that session. We're gonna see. So let me pull out my phone. Let me drink something too, real quick. Let me. My throat's getting dry. This is kind of deep. These are more deeper questions. Okay, would you rather have a minute conversation with your past self or your future self? That's a.
You gotta say your past self, I think, because if you're trying to have a conversation with your future self, I mean, assuming you must know more as your future self, right? I don't know. Because I'm thinking like if I only know what I know now, but I could talk to myself in the future,
Mhm.
then I'd want to talk to myself in the past because I know a lot more now than I did back then, right? So like
Okay.
the knowledge that you could spread when you're younger.
Okay.
I think you got to talk to your younger self because I think people aren't gonna. As you get older, you don't look forward. You're not. You try to focus more on. When you're young, you try to focus more on the future. When you're older, you reference the past a lot.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it's about living in the moment and just enjoying those simple times.
Right.
And so that's probably what I would do is just talk to my younger self, enjoy those times. Because I mean, now everything that's happened, it's like,
Yeah. If I had a minute to talk to my past self, I would be like, invest in crypto. I'm serious. I wouldn't even need a minute. Invest in crypto. Everything you got in 2000 and I don't know, 10, 11, 12. That's what I would do. That's interesting though. That's a good I'm glad you gave an explanation because that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I overanalyze all these questions.
It's okay though. That's good.
When I was in elementary school, they were like, "How tall is a horse?" Like, if a horse is standing, how tall is it? I'm like, "Is it standing on 4 legs or 2 legs? Because that's a way different height." And the teacher's like, "You're reading too much into it." I'm like, "You didn't answer the question."
Isn't that a good thing though? Wouldn't they want you to think like analyze?
She said, "You're reading too much into it." And I'm like,
I'm in school for a reason, homie.
Like,
what are you doing?
What are you talking about?
All right, I got another one for you, Carson. Would you rather know what your pets think of you or never hear them speak? What? All right, wait.
All right, cut that one out.
Let's what the hell? So when I first read it, it made sense. Okay, would you rather know what your pets think of you or never hear them speak? So when speak, that means barking?
I don't know because they don't already talk right now. So
yeah, we're gonna know that one.
Yeah,
we're gonna get that one.
A little...
Yeah, that's a little. All right. Okay. Would you rather be a member of the Kardashian family or a member of the Obama family? Go ahead. Do your thing.
Oh,
it's okay.
Why are you laughing so hard?
It's because it's so dumb. Go ahead.
You got to say the Kardashians.
Yeah.
You just are famous for
for
existing.
Sex tapes.
Oh, or just existing. Just being alive. You're famous.
You know what, though? I'll probably be a member. I feel like it's more fun in that side of town.
Well, can you imagine you can't go anywhere? If you're a member of like a presidential family or something, you're not going anywhere without security detail and authorization, and you always have somebody with you.
You know what? You know what? That's a good thing. That's a good thinking right there, because that must be to some extent a pain in the ass. We don't think about that much.
I mean, I would imagine even being a celebrity is probably difficult. You know, like trying to go out and you have people constantly around you taking pictures. Like you may not be in the
A-list celebrity.
Yeah. Like I think of some of those people, and I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, that'd be. We think we would want it, but
I think at the beginning we would, but then it's like when you go out and you can't do anything.
You can't
normal,
do we take for granted like, oh, you can just like some of the gym people, like big gym people. They'll go to the gym and like people just interrupt their workouts constantly.
Oh, just like that.
Yeah, and it's like
for whatever reason.
You can't even have we take just working out for granted, right?
Yeah, no, that's wild.
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather have only 7 fingers or only 7 toes?
Toes. You can hide them.
That's a great point.
Because I was thinking about that because I was like, well, it depends. Like, are they evenly spread out? But then I'm like, are you going to be off balance? And which toe are they like on the end so you can kind of support yourself, right? I'm analyzing these, man.
This is great, though.
Oh, man. I'm going to take Carlos out.
Yo. You know what it is? It's been over a decade of like missing, good laughs with you. So it's all coming together to. So which one did you choose? You chose the.
You gotta have
the 7 toes. I think so too. You can hide them. You can just, your hands, and by the time you get, a wife or something, it's too late now when they see your feet. Like you're already in love.
Yeah. You can always wear socks.
You can always wear socks.
My feet get cold.
little extra pairing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Okay, this is a good one. I think they're good, but this when I read them, they're chalked.
You got to ask Chat GPT. I bet you Chat GPT will come up with some good ones.
Actually, yeah. Okay, would you rather switch your body with your ex or switch your body with your grandma?
Well, that's a weird one because
That's just very weird.
I never really had an ex.
Okay, fair enough. What about someone you were dating?
I never really dated anybody.
So your first major relationship was the one you're married in?
Yeah.
Damn, Carson, you really...
Because I stayed single for... I mean, I think you remember. I was always like the single guy.
You never had a hoeing phase though? Like you never like really... Or you were just always about like taking care of business?
I mean, I took care of business, and then I think once I got to Georgia, I was like...
Especially there, like you need to lock in.
Oh, no, loosened up.
Oh, you loosened up when you got to Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Whole phase.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
But nothing like...
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, no.
But a little.
Because I was like, that doesn't really... When you think about like the Bible and stuff, I'm like, that doesn't really... You know, like is that really going to honor God and like or things that you're doing,
brother?
Like is what you're doing going to honor God and all of that stuff? But I think like after the whole situation happened with Tanner and everything, I was like
you
a little depressed and all that. So
I feel you about that.
But you go like you just hang out with friends, have a good time. But that was fine with me.
Yeah, that's good, bro, and I respect that. Just like we used to do in high school, bro.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Would you rather spend a week in the forest or a night in a real haunted house?
Probably a week in the forest. I'm not spending. Remember Netherworld? Did you go to Netherworld?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I'm not,
No.
I don't. I'm not doing a real haunted house. Yeah. No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. A week in the forest.
Week in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you survive?
I'll just bring some water with me, I guess.
Not eat, just not move, not move for 7 days.
Yeah, sleeping bag, some water, fire starter. I'll be all right.
What if a bear comes out?
Feel bad for the bear.
I like that, bro.
We have our GGC land navigation training.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We'd like be wandering through the woods at the school. I'm like, what are we doing?
We had to find what was it?
Something on a tree or something.
Trees for the location.
I'm like, this is
all right. Oh, this is This is getting mixy. This is getting a little dirty, but all right, here we go. You ready?
Oh yeah.
Would you rather drink from a toilet or pee in a litter box?
Pee in a litter box.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm
easy.
not drinking.
Yeah, I think that's not nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Yeah, that's good.
I'm not getting anywhere near a toilet.
All right. Would you rather lose all your teeth or lose a day of your life every time you kiss someone?
Kiss someone. I'm not kissing just anyone now. I'm
assuming that's including your wife though, because
probably your teeth, because
you can replace them.
Yeah, they have veneers and all kinds of stuff now.
Your teeth will probably look even better like with veneers.
Yeah,
and you can still keep kissing, no problem.
Yeah.
No, I get you on that. All right, here we go. Would you rather die in 20 years with no regrets or live 100 with a lot of regrets?
How old am I? 31.
21. Damn, you'll be 50.
But you already have regrets probably up until now, right? So
I'm assuming so.
I think you have to.
You're living with regrets. I can see you're going.
I think because there's always like things you may regret in the short term, but maybe not. I don't know. That's a good question.
What if? Yeah, that was a good one. So what if you living in regret, but like what if something you regret's like really really bad?
Yeah.
Like something you did, and you're going in that way. You're heading out that way. That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. I'd probably say live 20 years without regrets, maybe. Because it's like quality over quantity, right?
That is true. But I feel like even if you have regret, doesn't mean like your quality wasn't crazy bad.
Well, that's another thing. It depends on like what type of regret it is. Like, is it
just knowing yourself? I think for me, like if you ask me that, knowing myself, I would be like 100 years with regrets.
Yeah, because I already have some regrets now, but they're not like something crazy.
Yeah. No, it's good. Good, Carson. All right, we're gonna get into a couple more so we can. All right. Ooh, no, this is not good. This is not because okay. Would you rather have a child every 20 years or never have any children at all?
A child every 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Child in 20 years?
Yeah.
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 So if you start now, let's say you live to 70, you will have what, three children probably? Am I doing the math right? 2 children. Three children.
You're the econ major.
3 children.
Diminishing
Final
marginal
answer.
returns.
Final answer. You will have your last baby at 70.
Yeah.
Damn. Gonna be grandpa, dad, Carson Walters.
Great grandpa, dad.
Great grandpa, dad. Yeah, this is good. All right. Oh no, this is not even that. All right, be able to take about anything, say conversations about you. Okay. Would you rather have your skin that changes color based on your emotions, or tattoos appear all over your body, depicting what you did yesterday? So I'm guessing the day before.
I mean, I don't do that much stuff, so I don't know how many tattoos there could be of the same thing. But I gotta say that because you could probably hide. When you dress up for work, you probably have
some tats,
some clothes. Yeah. Because imagine your skin going like purple or green.
Call 911.
Yeah, it's like somebody's gonna. You might be at a meeting, somebody makes you angry, and all of a sudden you're like chameleon, just change. You're like, yeah.
And it depending on what emotions too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is that actually. Well, what would I do? What would I? I just don't like tattoos like that. Like for me. Like,
yeah.
And I don't have tattoos. Do you have tattoos?
Yeah.
You have tattoo?
Yeah.
When did you get one?
2016.
Well, how many you have?
2.
What are they?
This is right here.
On your hand?
Cross.
Okay. Let me see. Oh shit.
Yeah.
2013 you said?
No, 2016. I was
Is that one of your regrets?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I got that because Tanner had a cross here.
Oh,
but it was like just the outline of it, and I was like, I always liked the cross tattoo, and I was like, I'll get it similar.
Yeah. So for reference, Tanner was a really good
Tanner
friend.
Tanner was one of my best friends. He passed away in a vehicle accident. I think he had just turned 22. Yeah, he was very young.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had really good times. For the times that we spent together, it was really fun, man. He was also a really chill guy, like funny dude.
He was the guy who always, how you have different groups of people.
Yeah.
And like it could be like, super country people, like this group, this clique, and this clique. He was like the centerpiece who like bring all these different groups together, and they could interact and have a good time. So
yeah, I feel you, man.
Yeah.
Dang, rip, man. Even that when you told me that hit me different because. Sucks, man. What a beautiful life, dude.
Yeah.
But to finish it off, Carson, one last one.
All right.
Would you rather oversleep every day for a week or not get any sleep at all for 4 days?
Well, how much are you oversleeping? Yeah,
over a week. Over a week?
You could oversleep for a week, so you just
oversleep every day for a week. Oh yeah, actually, how much are you oversleeping? That's a good
like is that 5 minutes? Is that 2 hours? Is it?
And how much is oversleep to you, actually? Because oversleep to someone could be 12 hours or 8.
Yeah. Some people get like 5-6 hours of sleep at night and oversleep. Oh, I got 7.
I would go with the oversleep.
Yeah.
Just because not sleeping can kill you faster
than
not eating, even not eating.
Yeah. I'm big on sleep.
Yeah.
You should. There's a book on it. I forgot what it's called. I'm trying to think. It's called Why We Sleep. I heard about it on a podcast and they read it.
Yeah.
If they could, basically it says if you could package the benefits of sleep into a pill, it would it would be for sure banned from the Olympics because of how much performance enhancing it is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's critically important for your body. So I'd oversleep because I don't function well on like little sleep. I always try to get like 7-8 hours minimum.
You know what though? Putting that into perspective, the fact that you put all the benefits of sleep into a pill.
If you could.
Yeah, if you could.
It'd be banned.
That actually.
From the Olympics.
Dang. That perspective alone, like the way I see that, it's like, it's like if you take your vitamins every day, that's like the one you need.
Yeah. That's like wild. Without that's the foundation. Without that, the house crumbles. Yeah.
So what are you? Are you a sleeper? Like, do you sleep 6 to 8 hours? 8 hours?
I'm like 8 hours. I'm like around 8 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. If not more.
Yeah, I mean, I try to at least get 8. I mean, that's pretty much where I hover at.
Okay.
I'd say for the most part.
Good.
What about
Typically,
you?
they say 7-8 hours is good.
What about you?
But usually, yeah, I'm usually lately I've been 6 hours, but when I try to do the most, I try to do 8, and if I can, even more.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I was in like younger, I remember going to sleep like at 12, like at midnight. I'll wake up at 8 a.m., go to the restroom, and then sleep again till like 11, 12. I can't do that no more.
No, I'm like, I get up. I'm like, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, I got stuff you can before, dude.
Even if I don't have anything to do, I'm like, I just need to get up and do something.
Yeah, be productive. Man, hey, Carson, bro. Thank you for coming today, man. It's so good seeing you, bro. Like, I'm so proud of you and the way you've changed and like how mature you've became in your whole life. You got married, you're married now. You have a great job. Looks like a great partner with you. And also, you're starting like your own hobby and stuff. So I'm really proud of you, bro. We've come such a long way, man.
We have. We both got, our careers going. We have some side stuff we enjoy doing.
Yeah,
and,
man.
It's good times.
Yeah, awesome, man. Listen, if you ever need help, like I told you earlier, with YouTube or even coming on and anything else, so I'm gonna put the links to everything on my YouTube site, and then maybe you can come on again and just talk about that side as well, and then just share some stories,
chalk it
bro.
up again. Yeah,
100%, bro. Hey, man, it was good seeing you, brother.
Good seeing you too.
Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. This comes to an end. I'm actually kind of sad, but of our podcast session, and just. Again, thank you guys for everybody who's been subscribing to my YouTube channel. We've been growing so much. I mean, our subscribers is growing. Our views are growing. I'm trying to post, really good content for you guys out there and just share a lot of experiences from a lot of good people around my life. Don't forget to like, the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. All the videos come out in 4K, so the best quality you can get out there. And don't forget to like the podcast on Amazon Music, on Spotify, and of course on Apple Podcasts. See you guys on the next one. Take care of each other. I love you guys, and I appreciate the love. Carson, love you, brother. Thank you for being here.
You too, man.
See you guys on the next one.
See you.